sorry that the stream was pushed back an hour, and I don't know who was updated or whatever, but basically, Corey and Rico Stan are having a nice, I guess, chat not about fish, just about life on Rico Stan's channel. And so, since so many of us share friends, community members, subscribers, I delayed it an hour because of that talk. But talk's still going, so I figured I'm just gonna jump in because I don't want to keep y'all waiting too long. But how's everybody doing? It's really good to see everybody. Obviously, we did Aquashella or not Aquashella. We did the Portland thing. We did Fishtoberfest, which Kenny and all the great folks in Portland, the GUPAS, GPAS, the Portland Fish Club, were having this awesome first annual get-together, invited me to speak and gave me a booth even. So that was really, really fun. I got to meet a lot of people in person. I got to meet Haley in person from Oddball Aquatics. I got to see a lot of people that I haven't seen in a while, like Lucas Brett, Bob Steenfott. I see Bentley and Jason a lot, but I got to see them. Kenny I see pretty frequently, but I got to see Kenny. That was good. And you know what? We were all gonna... sorry, Mr. What's in the Cooler. Yeah, I was just saying that when I create a stream or a chat in StreamYard, if I don't go, it just says that I've delayed it by 10 minutes, and then 10 minutes, and then 10 minutes. Even if on YouTube I've changed it to the time being an hour later, it'll do that for like even 12 hours if I put it off a day or whatever. So I'm sorry that it does that. Usually I'll pop into chat and be like, hey, I'm just going to be a couple minutes if I'm already set up and live and in the StreamYard and stuff, and there's a delay of text support or driving or whatever. But in this case, I didn't think about it until I started getting messages of people saying, are you going to stream or not? It's been saying you're waiting for an hour now. So yeah, that was the reason, was I didn't want to jump over the other stuff. Oh, sweet. Nice, Haley, working on thank you notes for tomorrow's orders. Yeah, I told Matt that I was gonna buy some stuff, so you'll probably get an order headed to me coming through your line soon. We talked about it when I saw him, and then a lot of the stuff that we talked about went out of stock. But basically, it's like two Battis, or there's a few exceptions. The blue Medacas. Really want to get those because I got 6 from you guys. 5 turned out to be male. I mean, they were young. There was no way to know, but yes. Hey, thank you so much, Riku. Is it Rikuya? Says, I didn't know your name was Alex, but you've helped me so much. Thank you. Yeah, no problem. That's what I hope to do. So I'm tired of... I know Battis are a tall breeder, or a tall order right now. You say you can get from a local breeder if you're out. Ooh, okay. Thanks, Haley. Yeah, for sure. And thank you, Ray. So, how's everyone doing? Steven, what's going on, brother? I think I just saw you in the other chat. So, cheers. Same with Mary. And tonight, it sounds like it's ladies' night with, I'm guessing, that's 503, Roxanne, and Mary? Who am I missing? Is there anyone else involved? Tell me how uninformed I am, please. Also, I gave a talk which was on the 10 moments in history that you wouldn't think are fish-related necessarily, that created our hobby, or that laid the foundation for our hobby. And that talk was about a 40-minute talk. Rikuya, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate the super chat. Thank you. It goes towards the fish room, which I'll show you the stuff I got in, 503 Aquatics, 9 o'clock East Coast, 6 o'clock West Coast. So somebody tell me when it's 6 o'clock. I can't see the time on the live stream when I'm on my phone. Austin jokes. But yeah, then head over to 503 and check out those lovely ladies chatting. I want to show you something that's going on right now, and I've been getting still frame pictures of it, but I hadn't been getting a ton of, and pardon the mess in this fish room, it is a mess. But we've got some really cool behavior going on in this tank, and we've got my Enterochromis hoplochromis, which are in my opinion, they're my favorite. They're by far my favorite Lake Victoria cichlid. And this male that I got from Lawrence, Kent, about a month ago now has colored up, and so is that female. See, she's yellow and green and orange. This male, it's not showing live, and there's a reflection kind of, but he is blood red, pink, orange, yellow, blue, every color you could imagine. And these little fish, they don't have a name yet other than Enterochromis, which is a placeholder, and then Ilungu. You guys can probably see the orange and the yellow on his side, but man, I love this fish, and I'm really hoping they spawn, because other than a few mustard catfish and one daring Crebensis poulcher has managed to survive in this tank. I didn't even know that she was in there, and she happened to be like a half-inch long baby down in the grass when I moved them out and put these guys in. But they're seriously aggressive. I mean, like piranha aggressive. Like if you put any food in the water, they'll come all the way up. They'll strike. I usually have been putting stuff over top of the tank when I'm not in here, because they're so rowdy. Literally, my wife and I will be watching TV in the living room, which shares this wall here, and they'll thump and splash so loud that I have to come check and see what the heck went on. I didn't get any Nanochromis. They were sold out at Atkins Nature Aquarium, Ian. Also, really good to meet you, Ian, in person. Man, that was great. I figured if anybody has any questions about life in general... Oh my goodness, Patrick Hardy, thank you so much. I appreciate it. You know, I can't tell you guys how much I really, really sincerely appreciate your support and you guys watching and asking questions and all of that. I mean, I'm on the 22nd is when I'll be getting the rest of the teeth pulled and the bone graft for dentures. So those of you who've done that know that it's not the cheapest thing in the world, and no insurance really covers much of it. But because of that, I have to say that the fact that this event that I went to in Portland, it broke even, because you guys were so kind. You bought art from me, you bought prints, stuff like that, and I mean, it really made it so that it was doable. And you know, that's been something I've been trying to figure out a little bit about, like if I travel and give these talks, because a few people have asked now, and I would love to start doing that. But with my health issues, I was a little apprehensive also, like if I could promise to be there in 6 months and know how my health would be. But yeah, yeah, thank you, Leah. I think I will be a lot more comfortable. Right now, I can barely chew, my mouth really hurts. When the lightning hit, it's like putting hot dishes into a cold sink of water. And you know how they'll shatter if you like take it from the oven and put it into like into the sink? That's what happened with my teeth, was that the temperature got so hot so quick that it made these little micro fractures all the way down into the root, into the, you know, all the way down the tooth. And now they've basically just been the last 3 years trying to keep them together, and it turns out, you know, the last year they've known that it's just not going to work. So, hey, ADHD Aquatics, good to see you. But Haley, you feel how it is too, huh? Yeah, I can chew like here and on this busted tooth. You know, guys don't want to know about tooth stuff. But long story short, it's appreciated. You know, somebody on this stream was like, I used to support you, but I saw that you have a $600 rimless tank and a $400 light, and I figured you don't need support anymore. So if you guys need your money, please keep your money. Your health, family, life, fish room, all of that comes first. It's only if you can spare it and you decide you want to throw it towards the cause of this channel going on and being free to those who can't afford it, you know? If I have enough time to do it, I will do it. If I have the, you know, if my wife and I can basically balance it out so that the hobby's not costing me money, it ends up so that I can spend 20, 30, 40 hours a week working on the hobby, working on content and research, and I love doing that. That's a dream come true. I'm so humbled and honored by that. And I have you guys to thank, and memberships and things like that. That's reliable income. I mean, so thank you. I know I say this frequently, but thank you. It really does mean a lot, and it's so cool to get to meet everybody that's living in like the Portland area that was there at Fishtoberfest. I felt like I wanted to like hang out and talk with everyone for like the whole night, but yeah, so oh, Mary, don't you worry about any of that. Steven, geez, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Or more rimless aquariums. Yeah, I did get that one on sale. You know, at a certain point, you're like, I don't have the money for this, and so what difference is it if I spend 20 bucks on an aquarium? If I got 20 grand, I'm going to have to pay on teeth. My wife and I already did manage to get a house, so our mortgage is like the big payment, and then my medications. So, in any case, let's stop talking about that. I'm not trying to say woe is me. I'm trying to say I am so grateful, humbled, and appreciative of the community that we have here, of you guys, of the mods, all of that. And of you guys, you don't need to feel like you need to give something either for me to appreciate you and try to answer your questions. As long as I have time, I will answer them. It's just sometimes I have to pick up other gigs and then I can't make content. So, but lately things have been going really good, and same to like Aquatic Arts, Haley, Matt, the team over there, Preston, all of them. Just thank you guys so much, because when any of you viewers watch Aquatic Arts, I get a kickback from that, and then I can take the money, I can use it in the fish room, I can buy fish to show you when I get orders. Sometimes they'll send me free orders. The last, when they had they just changed. There was some readjustments made in the company, and they sent me 2 massive orders this year, like bigger than probably all my orders combined, when I got all those gobies and stuff, and I was just like blown away. However, that's probably not going to be the trend, or I wouldn't expect it to be anyhow. So, in the future, yeah, like that's where the money for aquascaping contests, your guys' super chats, your guys' money to Aquatic Arts, that's the money for the channel. Those are the 2 big sources. So when you use the codes in the description, it does help out. Now, speaking of new fish and cool stuff, let's look at that. I'm done yakking about that. If you guys have any questions, need any help in your fishy life, let me know what's going on, and we'll sort it out if we can. But I wanted to show you now that things are settled in. I did post a video of the stuff I got there. And the event, I feel bad. I don't think hardly anybody filmed anything there. And it's because everybody was having such a good time. It was a one-day event. And everybody was like, I better buy this or I better watch this talk. And it was kind of jam-packed. I mean, in a good way. Like, you felt like you got real bang for your buck, even though it was free to get in. But yeah, so Austin, these racks, they're not the cheapest level of this kind. The cheap ones are supposed to hold 800 pounds, and like you said, they don't. Or at least over like a decade, they won't. And neither will the particle board. Like, they come with like sawdust board with epoxy on them. But these are the Home Depot Husky brand. I think it's like affiliated with them. But it was oh, thank you so much, Bates and Genetics. I really appreciate that, man. Oh, Miss. Hey, is that Emily? Did I get that right? Or am I wrong? I might be totally wrong. But I'm real bad with names. But in any case, thank you for coming in and checking out the talk. I'm glad you liked it. So I may give the talk on this channel, but what I was going to say is the Aquarium Insiders podcast has a 2-hour version of the talk and then some. Okay, I was right. Good, Emily. All right, I'm not going crazy. So good to meet you in person as well. And I know you guys got a coloring book from me, which is not necessarily my fish stuff, but it's interesting. You know what's interesting here too is that this here leaf is molding underwater, and not the normal kind. So I'm kind of just looking at it, and it's odd. This aquarium has been odd since the start. John, you missed out on purchases because you were in the talks. I missed out, yeah, since I was running the booth and trying to talk with everybody, which was great. But yeah, I missed out on most of the talks. Luckily, I've heard most of the talks actually. But yeah, I feel your pain. But what I was gonna say too, and thanks again, Patrick, for that super chat, man, really, for that cavalcade. Yeah, this tank's always been weird. It's always had this odd, dense green that I can't say for sure, but I'm almost positive it is from the moss ball. Because I cut up a moss ball 2 years ago and like glued it to this thing basically, and ever since it's had moss on it. Although it turned very dark green and very dense. So we'll see how it goes. Hey, oh nice. T-Bone, thank you so much, brother. You got some T-Bone, or got some Black Widow Tetras today. I'm reading and speaking at the same time and messing my life up. But, yeah, so in here, it's got a weird biome going on. I mean, it's not high nitrates or anything. There's only, like, I don't know, 4 snails, and they've all grown really big. They've got good shells, so there is some hardness to the water. I don't ever trust the little strips. But in here we've got the true, like 2 of them out of the 3 that I bought a year ago or so. The true bumblebee freshwater gobies. And then we've got obviously a bunch of shrimp. We've got a few, 2 pairs of the nice threadfin rainbows. And then we've got about 9 frittata rainbows of different generations. A few babies have been born in here, but they usually get eaten. Like, if they survive, I'll find out because they're, like, yay big. I hardly ever see teeny ones. And also, my lemon plecos had babies in the big tank out in the living room, and so a lot of them are in here because of all the biofilm, algae, and so forth. I mean, this tank keeps alive about 14 stiphodons and 3 different stiphodon species. And they go into spawning mode, which if you guys saw my video on that, they actually get big fat bellies. They do the little twirl around each other, like, you know, like 2 of them swirl up like a double helix. And then there's a poof of eggs, little teeny, smaller than brine shrimp eggs. And then, boom, there's a poof of milky water, not the prettiest thing. But then they just part ways, and because I don't have salt water in here or whatnot, they just never mature. I really want to get more of these catfish if I can ever find them around here again, but these are the yellow catfish from Myanmar, or they're also a type of glass catfish, or shadow catfish sometimes they're called, but they're a really cool one, and I've got 2 of them. They've been doing really well in here. And in this tank, like I said, a lot of people ask, like, how do you do it without having it being, you know, having power heads and stuff with the stiphodons? And the trick is, this lights on about 18 hours, and then, so it grows a lot of algae. And then I do a lot of water changes. I keep it low because the gobies will climb out. They'll climb all the way up to here on the glass, like, for no reason, just for fun. And basically, the filter, I let it drop. Because when water drops, it creates negative ions, and it also creates ozone. And not that we know that does anything. Like, we haven't been able to prove that in any studies, but it seems to do the trick the same as power heads would for keeping so many of those stiphodon gobies happy and healthy. Same with rainbowfish, which generally need flowing water or very clean water to kind of be at their best. Also, my other breeding project of these golden amber barbs, whatever you want to call them. These are full grown. They're not even an inch long. They're really cool. They're about 10 bucks a pop though, so I am gonna get more, but I'm just gonna save up. They say that around 9 to 12 are needed to really get them breeding well, but this tank is pretty densely planted, and it has my Blue Dreams in it that are from Lucas Brett's about 6 or 7 years ago now, since before he had a YouTube channel, so whenever that was. And yeah, so they're really cool. These don't really yellow up. These ones haven't anyways, but they're on a white substrate, so these cats, despite their name being yellow, they have kind of a yellow head, but it's really just seeing blood through it. You can see food in their belly and stuff, though, which is kind of interesting, which is neat, yeah. But what I wanted to show you guys, too, are the new additions. I know you guys, a lot of people were really sad, or, what's the word? Maybe even judgmental that I had 5 of these guys and they died during the heat wave. Hey, Jay Oliver, what's going on, man? But I got 4 more, and it looks to be at least, from what I can tell, let's try to get the other ones over. These are not your normal chocolate gouramis. These are Valenti gouramis, or Valenti. Valiant or Valent is what you'll usually see, or Samurai gourami. Rainbow chocolate gourami is another name. And they go from this look to fully rainbow colored stripes on their side. I've got pictures of them and video of them in the past, I think. But the other cool thing is they're partial mouth brooders, so sometimes they'll mouth brood. Usually they will, or they'll blow a bubble nest for 2 or 3 days and then they'll mouth brood, which is a really neat combo to see. And right now they're in here with about 6 or 7 CPDs, Celestial Pearl Danios, and just endless amounts of guppy grass. And I thought that there might be some aggression between the chocolate gouramis and the CPDs. Like, here's a CPD tangled up in here. But it doesn't seem to be happening. It seems to be that they'll actually hang out together. Like, I got some pictures last night of them just chilling together. So I'm glad that that's working even better than I thought. The next thing I'll have to reclaim in the fish room are the panda loaches, because I'm down to just 2 of the panda loaches at the moment, after this summer's big heat wave wiped them out. They were 3 years old, which is the near end of their life, but I love panda loaches, and so that was another sad loss. I also lost a lot of my Caridina shrimp and stuff. One of the last 2 is sitting on the glass under a leaf. But the other thing that's going on in here that's kind of cool are the half-beak babies are in here, and they're growing pretty quickly. You can see them up at the top of the water, and they're doing well. I figured, they're not going to be down in the bottom hunting the babies from these guys, if these guys have them. These guys will probably hunt their own babies, if anything. But, yeah. So, the other thing about these racks is if you get them, buy boat wood. So it's called boat wood at Home Depot, or marine plywood or marine press board. And it's 2 pieces of laminate that are an 1/8 of an inch, and then it's another quarter of an inch, so it's a 1/2 inch thick board, and the center is more like press board, but the sides are laminate, and then the whole thing has been pressure treated with like an epoxy or resin, and that means that these can repel water. They're not like waterproof, but they repel water just like treated lumber would. And then they're way stronger. You don't get that chipping on the edges. That chipping is what causes these shelves to collapse on most people who have problems with them. Oh, and another little update here. This guy and gal, they are exhibiting spawning behavior for sure too. The female there with the less color, these are the rocket killies. I like calling them rocket killies rather than clown killies. Clowns are creepy, rockets are cool. So, yeah, I'll just call them that. And their Latin name is not the best either, annulatus. So it's got the word anal in it, and I just, whatever. So, let's show you another newcomer. So this fish has been on quite the roundabout to get here. There's a group of them now. I got 5 of them originally, And you can see a big male puffed up over there. But these are blue lip buffalo heads, and tonight I'm actually reconfiguring this tank. You can see the biofilm hanging out and stuff. And we had half weeks in here, and they've been spawning and stuff. And we had rainbow fish, but now this tank is changing to an African focus tank because we've got Mordecai, the Mormarid, and he's hanging out in there doing well. But I think we're gonna move over all the African fire barbs into this tank too, and do kind of a central riverine tank. You can see the buffalo heads. There's 3 over here. I think there's a total of 4 alive that made it to Seattle. And then there's my pair of Nicini, or it looks like Ningensis when you see it spelled out. But they are it's named after a Dutch fella, and they're a fun little episto. But those and the Gilbert eye are going to get moved, and I'll probably do a rainbow 40 breeder, an African 40 breeder, and a Lake Inlay 40 breeder will probably be how that shakes out. I did think about putting the buffaloes in here, but these guys are still real temperamental, obviously. Maybe once they spawn, I'll reconsider. The other cool thing we got down there that I wanted to show you colored up, beyond the fact that my fire barbs here have been spawning really well, and so have my multi-barred. They're from Myanmar, so these would go in the Lake Inlay tank too. Those guys with the zebra stripes back there that aren't the fire barbs, I had about 4 or 5 in here originally, and now I've got 11 or 12, depending on, I couldn't tell for sure, but 11 or 12, and I'm really excited about that. The other fish that I recently got are these ones right here, these very slow moving striped ones. So this is like my striped tank right now, just kind of by accident, but it's just where they're happy. So you can see the size difference. There's and it looks like maybe there's ick or something on that one, which I wonder about, because I did just throw new fish in without quarantining them. But all these fish should be able to take 85-degree temperature. So that's probably what we'll do is we'll just, yep, that's what he's got. It looks like ick. It's either ick or some sort of velvet, but knowing this fish, this tank, that's going to be ick. So that's the first sign of ick on this type of fish. Other fish, not so much. These 2 orange-eyed or red-eyed yellow tetras, or lemon tetras, I've had them now. They've got to be going on 10 years. They were 5 years old when I got them, and they were given to me, they're wild caught down in Brazil, and then brought back through Peru from a friend who used to be in the Seattle club. And he had like, I don't know, 9 of them that he gave me, and I still have 3 of them in here. Now, look who's coming just at the right time to show off, and that is the golden dwarf cichlid. These guys, typically, they look real boring, and people are like, I don't know why you got those, including my wife. But when he comes back around, you'll see that they can be really beautiful. That's the thumbnail today, is this really easy to keep, really nice little riverine cichlid, which is the Nanacara. And Nanacara animala is their Latin name. And these ones are from a different collection point than the 2 that I had existing in here. The 2 that I already had in here that have spawned in the past, they were from a southern collection point, whereas this new one is from this blue guy here. This turquoise and blue guy is from a different collection point. The angelfish wants attention. There, you got attention. Move along. And they just have a nice marking. And it appears that I'll probably be mixing the collection points, honestly. But they're not a rare or expensive cichlid. They're in the hobby as a domestic thing quite a bit. And there's a lot of variety in their coloration. But a lot of people never get to see them colored up. But the cool thing about them is they will color up like wild. I mean, they really color up, and then they when they spawn, but they also do it like just to attract a mate, like guppies do. And so they will color up very frequently if they're happy. You can really tell how your water quality is in general by if they're colored up or not. Like every week, if you see them go a week without coloring up, you've probably got some nitrate issues or something fluctuating. But yeah, we've got these are 8-banded barbs right here. These guys, they're Southeast Asian, I believe, from Thailand and the Malaysian earlier. And when they spawn, I mean, like as red as this, it's crazy. Um, but yeah, so they're doing well. Oh, here's the group. They're really shy right now. I hope that changes, but you tend to find that. I think I've decided also with the help of Aquatic Arts that this 90L is going to be a black water um, biotope from Lake Inlay. Not quite black, but call it a shallow lake slash rice paddy and flooded grassland, which is really hard for me to do. I love to plant my tanks, plant the heck out of them, and this is going to be a challenge to just say, Alex, no, you're going to put, a nice piece of wood, maybe some stone, and call it good. Then this little tank, I think I've decided, is going to be, I want to build moss and then ferns coming out of it. So it's really kind of an immersed tank. That's the goal is going to be with it. So I got a lot of projects for this winter, and I'm pretty excited about them. On top of that, obviously, at any time I could pull out these and start spawning them where they don't eat their young. In this tank over here, we've got the Gulf killifish and also the Gulf blue fin killie, and then we have the pygmy sunfish that's really pretty. The Gilbert eye also. Killifish breeding tank doing well. My betta grow out slash white cloud and meteor minnow grow out tanks doing well. The bettas are all a little over an inch long now and starting to show some color. The ram's horn snails doing well. Surprisingly, I don't know how this tank has 0 nitrates, but it hangs out the lowest of any of these filterless tanks. There's a sponge filter for the surface area, but there's no air going to it on any of these top tanks. And this one's had Corydora in it for years, and no heater, nothing. This room doesn't get below about 70 degrees, so that's part of it. Last thing I'm going to show you guys in here, other than one more species, and then I'll focus on questions again, is these guys. I came back to them having babies. There's the female. And usually they're super sweet and, like, oddly, they want to be held. They want to be, like, they're very social fish. And they'll swim into your hand and rub up against you and stuff. I mean, these are fish that have labyrinth organs, so they're comfortable breathing outside the water. But it's just kind of interesting. I'm not going to bug them right now on film, but sometimes they'll, literally swim into my hand, especially if I'm cleaning and my hand makes this shape. They swim through it like a cat swims between your legs. So that's kind of fun. And then also my wild bettas. Here they are right now, hanging out with some little weird snails that I got with them. They're not pond snails. They're slightly different. They're not bladder snails either, so I'm going to have to figure out what they are, but here are the bettas. Come on, focus. And there's 4 of them, as far as I can tell, that have made it to this kind of subadult 1.5-inch long stage. So, pretty excited about them too. Last thing we'll look at, other than on the way over, we'll look at real quick that we've got all of the fish that was just in my hand. Their babies have been growing out for one group for 2 weeks, the other for a week. The week-old ones are mostly hanging back in the corner here, away from everything, and they look like tadpoles. Whereas the older ones have been venturing deep into the tank. They're eating brine shrimp now. Here's some more of the little ones. You can barely see them, but maybe my finger will do it. This tank's colder since it's on the floor. It's sitting at around 68 degrees today. We got down to freezing last night, so outside that is obviously. But this tank here was set up in a video called "How to Colony Breed CPDs," and I let the CPDs do their thing, and most likely they laid eggs in there while they're in there, so there may be some CPD fry lurking with them. But then I moved them over with the chocolate gouramis because I have fish ADD and decided to do something different and didn't know where to put the babies from the other guys. So then lastly, let's turn around, then I'll get to questions, I promise. I bought for $20, Bentley hooked me up with a beautiful crypnuri that had great roots. See that? Unfortunately, out of everyone here, the female betta, decided to yank it up with her face, just nuzzle it up, and the roots stayed in the ground. The leaves came off. Don't think anything will survive of that. Now, the last thing that we were on our way to see are these, and they'll go in the lake inlay biotope because they're really cool. The wet spot had them down in Portland, and they're not even colorful right now. They're being lazy. But here is a male, or female rather, and they're big compared to the males. And they've got this big old belly, cool markings, and this tail will be like beet red. I'll put a little bit of food in and you'll see. They're really acrobatic. They do somersaults, and I'll definitely have to do a species profile on them. But yeah, they're really acrobatic. Also, this couple still has never hooked up. Jackson Pollock Fish Stick and Rose have never hooked up. They've blown a lot of bubble nests, or he has, but she hasn't had any eggs for him yet, or he hasn't impressed her enough yet. I don't know what the deal is. But oh, here we go. So if I just sit back and let you guys see this for a sec, I want you to see the difference. They can smell like crazy. So they smell with their barbels. The second it hits the water, their faces just go twitch, 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 twitchy. The anii are in here. You can see while I was gone, the light got stuck on. So we have a crazy algae bloom going on that I'm trying to treat with my own recommendations rather than any chemicals. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, so in here, the male ones, they look like they all have a crooked spine. But if you watch the females, they can bend their spine in the same spot. Right here, right where their cloaca is, that hole where they use the restroom, they can bend backwards. Like they can bend their spine backwards. And I have no idea what's up, but both my males have a bend there. And online, a lot of pictures, they have a bend there online. Not every picture, but a lot. And so I don't know if it's from inbreeding in the lake, like Lake Inlay. They've been cut off from the rest of the genetic stream of their cousins for whatever, 700,000 years, or if it's because they are actually evolved to do that for, for some feeding reason or to fit in somewhere because of their unique habitat. So if anybody knows about that, I mean, normally it's bent spine, is problems. It's genetic, it's calcium, it's an issue. But these guys, when they said they got them in, like 100 of them, they were all like that. So it's kind of interesting that they turned out that way. But these females, just since getting to my place, their bellies are getting bigger by the day. And apparently, as most lake inlay species, they're pretty easy to breed. Most lake species are easy to breed if they live in the lake their whole life, because they live in the lake their whole life. So you don't need to do the whole like changing weather crazy difference thing. You can kind of just let them be. I also wanted to give you guys just a little sneak peek. I think other than just the shirts I have on Teespring, A lot of people, no, those are called red-tailed lake inlay dwarf loaches. But um, blue-eyed forktail, so furcata rainbows. I would go to seriouslyfish.com or Seriously Fish. They're usually pretty good. Or Aquatic Arts is where a really good source to go also, honestly. They work real hard on their research and write-ups to be right. But I sold some of these prints, and, you know, I had my Hawaiian series, which is aquatic or nautical, themed just by default, and happened to tie in nicely with my talk. The sly, there's the Huma Huma Nuka Nuka Upa Hawaii, or Upa Wai, whatever. You guys know what I'm talking about. It's a triggerfish. Yes, Aquatic Arts does have mud skippers currently, and they are the blue ones. They are the Atlantic ones that Kenny has. Then I did a sea turtle with the symbol for the triggerfish, symbol for storm, and then these triangles mean change when they have a white line around them. When I was in Hawaii, I got to talk with some locals and learn quite a bit about the patterns, and I asked them, like, as a white guy, what patterns can I use? You know, what, like, without offending you, or you know, because to them, a lot of them are patterns that are earned, like through rituals and things. So yeah, but so we had those. We had my both my unrelated to aquatics technically, but we had my mushroom coloring book, my first coloring book that's coming up on 10 years now, I guess, coming up on 8 years. And this book, unintentionally, if you like cats or fish stuff, there's a lot of, oops, that might get demonetized for that one. But there's a lot of stuff, like these are cuttlefish, the mimic ones, that can change color on a dime flying through space. I have color versions of all these. This is an octopus that is having sushi, preparing human sushi. And let's see here. Yeah, so there's animals. This is an octopus. This was for Portland. It was for Stumptown, which was named so after being logged, their neighborhood. But it's a coffee brand too. So this was an octopus logging. Basically, can you imagine how much they could log? So this is not on Amazon. It's not anywhere right now for sales other than through me, honestly. Also, I have some versions of my... thank you so much, ADHD. I appreciate it. It's okay. Being demonetized, my streams usually make $1 to $7. Like, if like 4,000 people watch, I'll get like $5 to $7. If 1,000 to 2,000 people are watching, they're usually like $2 or $3. So it's not the end of the world by any means. But I appreciate the thought. Thank you. But yeah, so I brought a couple Northwest ones too. Like, I didn't even think these would sell. It's just they were easy to pack up and bring. And then I started looking at my art and I was like, man, even before I was really obsessed with fish, I mean, I was as a kid and then I was again later, but a lot of my art just happens to have water, fish, mountains in it. And you know, I'm working out that right now, Carla, how you could order. If you message me, if you're in the States, I can definitely sleeve these up, put them on cardboard, sign them, and send them out. I mean, and we've got other things like a kitten skull, or a cat skull. That's a pug skull. So mutated, so hard for them to breathe. Poor little guys. Then we had some Northwest themed stuff, Mount Rainier, more Northwest stuff. That's the North Cascades. But where was it? I was trying to show you guys. Oh, here we go. I was trying to show you guys the ones we sleeved up for the event predominantly, but we did sell some of these other ones. You know, here's another domestic cat skull, just the top part, no mandible. But then we did the ones that are on the shirts on the Teespring. So if you want these, they're on Teespring. But this is one Ginger Graves had custom commissioned from me. And it's the Shelleys with like the biomechanical kind of thing going on. And then we've got, of course, the betta splendens and the wind up betta splendens. So if you buy the hoodies online or the t-shirts or the masks, just go under the Teespring link in the description and you'll find most of them have it on both sides. Just double check. If there's a color or a size you want that you don't see, I can always throw it on. This was the opening photo for my PowerPoint / slideshow talk about the history of our hobby. But I did an ink drawing in person when I was in Hawaii. And so that is from that series, as were those other ones you guys saw. But there's also Corey's. There's more I need to upload. There's a koi. There's also yeah. So the Teespring has this stuff on shirts, on towels or cloths for the fish room, and I'm gonna be adding more stuff like some of these prints and things. I might just throw on that store. It's just that store is so terribly organized. That store is set up so that you have to make an actual item for every single thing. So if it's a medium female cut t-shirt, then you have to make a blue female medium cut t-shirt. If it's a large, you have to make a whole new one, even if it's the same color in art. It's really frustrating. So I kind of want to find a new place to do that, and I may. But if you're interested in the art, feel free to message me through YouTube or my email, alexanderjwilliamson@gmail.com. And usually I do the prints for $10 a piece, and they're usually gel ink printed, which means they're UV resistant on semi-gloss cover stock. As are my. Why not do a live sale? Well, I do them when I go to events in person. I used to have hundreds of prints available online from 15 years of tattooing and painting, but the problem was fulfillment was a little harder back then. Now it's getting better, but also it was just hit and miss, and the fish thing I kind of kept separate from the art thing. And then because I was spending so much time doing stuff for the YouTube, I never have, Kevin. That's an interest. I'm gonna do an episode on the history of betta keeping. It's just controversial because they really were bred and kept to fight. Same with half-beaks, and it's been for over 1,000 years. New science solidifies that that's for sure what happened. And so a lot of people don't want to hear that, but honestly, the reason they have fins close to the body, the head that has fins set back from it, all those were basically intentional traits they bred in to make them better fighters. People don't like to hear that about like pit bulls either, but I mean pit bulls were designed to either hunt or fight, you know, and so they were designed similarly by people doing that. So in any case, I have a video coming out on that I've been working on forever. Half of it was done on my old phone, and that was one I lost too. So that's a bummer, but such is life. All right, so let's get some questions going here and see what we can figure out. And then I'll have to go. Somebody let me know when I have to go. Yo, yo, ho. Ro, ho, ho. And then I'll hop over to the ladies' night chat that's going on. All right, let's pop this around. No one needs to see my janky teeth. All right. So, do we have any questions? I'm sure I missed some. I saw something about snails, and I'm sorry I missed it. But, yeah, this is totally full-grown wild caught right here, by the way, of the red-tail inlay loach. That's the female. And you can see her belly is full of legs, man. And then the Annie gobies, they're doing really good in here. They got lots to eat right now, biofilm and algae, that's for sure. This tank is now probably, what, a year and a half, 2 years old, right before the lockdowns and things and everything started. So, yeah, probably coming up on 2 years now. You want the weird snail. Yeah, there's I mean you could also get other weird snails like the pagoda snail and stuff. Another thing that's interesting is at night, Bickford pencilfish, they get lines that are horizontal. I mean vertical rather than horizontal. And their other lines go away completely. Um, Good tank mates for Synodontis lucipinus. Um, I would say anything from the mid-size African stock is going to be fine. I mean, some of your algae eaters and bigger fish like that are from other parts of the world are also totally fine. But those catfish can, in theory, take their catfish, and catfish sometimes will catfish and end up eating stuff that fits in their mouth. They don't tend to be one of the super aggressive ones either. But I think like you could do at the top, you could do some butterfly fish or bush fish, or I mean, if you want to mix biotopes, you could do archers. Those banded or fire barbs, most barbs will hold their own against those totally fine. Um, and most mid to large size tetras will too. These glass tetras actually would do fine, I'm sure. But you don't want to put like ember tetras or Kubota rasboras, guppies, things like that. In theory, I can't say that that's a good idea. You could put gouramis in there; they'll hang out at the top. And then if you did that like that, or I mean, if you're keeping it African, I think it'd be cool to do a butterfly fish and maybe or hatchet fish. That's not African, but it'd be cool still. And then you can also do cribs. Cribs work really well with most of the Synodontis. Or you can do other Synodontis species too. Or like a Raphael catfish. Depends on how big your tank is. But yeah. What is the floaty plant called that looks like a stem plant but never roots? Where can I buy the coloring books? You can buy the coloring books through me. They're usually $20 a pop plus shipping and tax in my state. Clockwork Betta is a good name. Maybe I should rename the channel, Chris. But yeah, if I could type in chat, I would right now. Actually, those Nanacaras, they're not a bad fish either to go with the Synodontis. And pencilfish are super underrated. They hang out at the top and they're great. So are like with any Synodontis. I mean, you got things like Congo tetras, lampi, Madagascar lampis are really cool and not that often seen. Most people usually see the Papua New Guinea or the Pacific blue eyes. Pseudomagills are probably quick enough, probably move enough that you'll be fine with them. But then also you could even do any mid-size to large gourami with them because they're going to hang out top to middle water usually. Will CPDs and emerald rasboras make a hybrid? Yes, they will. And can they live together and both have babies apart? What do you mean by that? They definitely can hybridize. In fact, I have a hybrid in here. Dwarf neon rainbow and forktail friccata rainbows good. Yeah, they'll work fine. The neon dwarfs can be a little bit more voracious with their appetite. So I would say when you feed them, feed like them over here and the others maybe here. All these kind of pseudomagill / rainbow fish or dwarf rainbow fish. Europe doesn't call pseudomagills rainbow fish usually, but like the luminatus, the Ivanstoffs, the Gilbert eyes, the threadfin, and the forktail you have, but the threadfin's here, and the neon, right here, the praecox, the dwarf neon, yellow and red. The females are yellow, the males are red. They'll work good. They'll work well together. Oh, also the turcanas are big enough now. The jewel cichlids, they're not red because they're not feeding right now, and it's been dark, but they're gonna, I mean, they turn blood red when I feed them anything. They just start going nuts. The goodeids are doing good. With the puffers still, they're still all getting along, which surprises me, but nobody's nipping on anyone's tails. The tails have healed since I got them, because when I got these from a club member, the tails had been pretty bitten up by, I don't know, other tank mates. And then I'm still growing these guys out, so threadfin, cannot keep them alive. Water changes are needed, and if your water is not to their liking, you need to do small water changes frequently, like every 2 or 3 days. But with them, I try to do a water change, the threadfins, I try to do a water change every week of 50% all at once. They really color up when that happens. I also try to feed them live food at least once a week, whether that's baby brine shrimp or Daphnia or mosquito larvae, whatever I can get my hands on. Even vinegar eels, they'll eat. They'll go after that kind of small stuff. But the other main thing is you need some floating plants, but not enough that it blocks out the top, because they need to be able to move quickly around. A 20 long or bigger for them, I think, is pretty ideal. A lot of people will keep them in a 20 tall, and I feel like they're a fish that gets startled and runs. You know, they really zip off. And that's true with a lot of pseudomagills, a lot of rainbows. But the other thing is they need flowing water, or at least well oxygenated water. So those are some things to consider if you're going to be trying to keep them alive. And a low TDS is pretty helpful. They don't need like crazy low TDS, and they don't need crazy low acidity or anything. There are varieties that do live in pretty acidic and tannin-rich waters in coastal like Australia, but the ones from Papua New Guinea, which are the ones that we commonly keep in the hobby that we see in the trade, they're found in rivers that are pretty clear. So like the ones right here you're seeing that tend to have the purple tail when they're colored up, and then the kind of green or lime green or yellow body, and then a pink top fin. Though that color pattern, that strain, is one that we tend to see most in the hobby. Let's see here. Questions. I don't sell fish online. Yeah, it usually kills them. Oh, Allison, thank you so much. The inlay hovering loach spine deformity is natural. All my group have it. Males have the horizontal line. Females are modeled. Good article and practical. Yeah, that's kind of what I read, but I just wasn't positive. But yeah, that makes sense. They're just the genetics, but I really like them, and they seem to be pretty tough. I bought my rummy nose rasboras, and they have some kind of internal problem. A couple of them have long, thin, white, straight tubes coming out. That is probably going to be worms. Get yourself some fenbendazole, flubendazole, or levamisole, and treat them. That is what you want. Is this Fritz XLP? You can get it from Aquarium Co-op now. And it is just levamisole, this stuff right here. And this stuff right here, you can also get on eBay if you trust it. But you need to be sure that you're getting it from a source where you know it's 50% pure or 100% pure or whatever. Because it's easy to overdose and kill every snail, every shrimp, every fish if you do it too much. Definitely. So yeah. Did the red lizard whiptails decimate your shrimp in that tank? I think they smashed my blue dreams. Yeah, they did. I mean, they didn't kill them all, but where are they? The red lizard whiptails. Where are they? They've been hiding since I put these guys in. Since I put the apistos in. I don't know why. They don't seem to bug them or anything, but they're just like real suspicious of them. Usually they're hanging out right here by the filter on the glass. But one had hopped out a while back. I still have the two that I've had a long time. And they're somewhere in here. Who knows where they are? I'm not going to like dig forever. I was just seeing if we could find them quickly. But no, there are still shrimp in here. Just way less. But there is a lot of cover. So Wassertang is a good cover for shrimp. And it'll allow you to keep more than you may expect. There's still some bold ones that'll sit like up on the rock though. Like in the evening and stuff. which always surprises me. I'm like, what are you thinking? You're food to everybody in this tank. But also, I mean, if you have shrimp like wild type or coals, they're an awesome food source in that they will just spawn or you know, breed, and then they're just a living food source for your fish, which is great. You know, it gives them something to hunt. It diffuses aggression and things. Scuds can be the same, but again with shrimp, like here's some scuds that have survived being fed to my, you guys know my little dragon gobies that burrow in the sand. Well, one of them died the other day from eating too many scuds. When I cut him open, they were stuck all the way from his mouth all the way into his belly, and you know, like all the way through him, and he was like bloated with them. And I think their shells got too hard for him when he was eating either empty ones, like they leave an exoskeleton, or he literally just ate too many at once. So that might be something with scuds. If you have small fish that are eating them, be careful, because they will eat them to the point of being overloaded, bloated, and then they're gone. And that's a bummer. You know, shrimp are always best kept with teeny tiny fish that can't do much to them, or with other shrimp, honestly. I mean, even these guys with the least killifish, those least killifish babies or these clown killies, I mean, they will hunt. They can get at these angles, and they can really pick off things. If it fits in their mouth, if it fits, it ships, as that ad says. Let's see here. I need to get off of here soon. I don't have experience with Crypt Albita Red. I love that plant. I mean, I've cared for it once. I just don't have experience with it, like, in depth. And, they are, they're really cool plants. So the stuff here, this is guppy grass or Nagensis grass, and it is free floating. There's also Potamogeton gayi mixed in with it. That's what this stuff is. And in highlight, this is like the worst light you could ever have. In highlight, that stuff actually looks like this. Under a Fluval 3.0, it looks like this stuff here. And it forks out very tightly, like this one here. And it grows in these stacked kind of staircases. Or if it's in the shade, it'll grow like this, and you'll get gold lines down the center, bronze lines, different color leaves. It's a really cool plant. It really is. I like it a lot. It's just a bit of a slow grower, and it is a... Hey, thank you so much, Misfits Reptiles and Aquatics. I really, really appreciate it. Jamie Lee, good to see you on here. It was so good to meet you. Look at this guy go. He's so cute. I love this Apisto, but I think he's going to butt heads with the buffalo fish for sure. Being that they are territorial. They may have even taken over that coconut. In fact, I hope they've taken over that coconut. Oh, they have. They are in the coconut. Maybe they're going to spawn. But anyways, these fish came on a trip. Lawrence Kent collected them in Africa and then brought them to a friend who works at the wet spot, Andy. And then he and another guy bred them out. And then they brought them to the wet spot, and they weren't selling because people just didn't know what they were. But they're really cool when they're really colorful. And the tannins in the tank will help. The acidity will help. So yeah. And they have this bright blue lip when they're happy. These guys are not quite settled yet. They've only been here for 2 days. But when they get happy or when they're mating, they'll start coloring up and looking pretty neat. Let me move the heater a little bit so we can maybe peer in and see this buffalo head in the little village I've set up. I know there's a lot of mulm getting kicked around. This tank's next in line for water changes and filter redo. Like I said, I want to move all these top dwellers just because I think the buffalo heads, I'm going to watch them closely, but I think they're going to start coming up and eating, or at least harassing these guys, I would guess. I don't know that for a fact, but they're pretty tempting. They look like fishing lures the way these there's a nice display of that Gertrudii pseudomcgill. Real beautiful fish, even though it's only 3 colors. And then they all have babies. These half beaks are live bears. They'll have live babies that are teeny tiny, like an eyelash, that swim around up at the top. But the problem is that these pseudomagills have been eating them. And so the pseudomagills have been eating them pretty much instantly when they're born. And one of them they need to be split up if I want more half-beaks. Which I do. I'd love to see like 30 or 40 in a 40 breeder as the main top fish. They don't produce a ton of waste. They're real skinny and quick metabolism, but they eat, you know, bugs and stuff. But we've got some younger half-beaks. You can see here, they're skinnier and they're darker in color. As they get bigger, they get wider and more either silver or gold. And they'll fight back too. So yeah. All right, guys. Well, let's see here. I really appreciate everybody coming through here. They are Gertrude Aru4s. They were from Aquatic Arts. I'm almost positive that they came from Gary Lang at some point. Don't know if they bought them from him or someone secondhand, like through him. But he collected the RO2s and the RO4s of the pseudomagills for the hobby. And the RO2s are different. I've had them before in the past and sold off that colony and then got this one. So yeah. Half-beaks do prey on their young. Not the first day, but they will also prey on other... So like the mom will be okay the first few days. The dad or the fish that are kind of in that cluster, usually okay the first few days. But then if the babies start like getting in on feeding and stuff, they'll sometimes whip around and start eating them. All right, guys, we need to wrap it up because the ladies over on 503 Aquatics, Shanna, who I got to meet in Portland also. Hello, baby pleco. Lemon plecos are all over this tank hiding. More of them here and here. But in any case, yeah, I need to let this stream go. I've already ran a little late. Carla, I'm so glad you caught the live stream. I'll be live streaming at 7:30 on Friday. And Tuesdays, usually at 4 o'clock. Today was later because it overlapped. But we should have another guest soon, too. Another expert guest. Trying to have one every month, if not more. Of just like university or lifelong trained experts of a certain fish or plant or group of things, or chemist or whatnot. So should be fun, and hopefully I've got some cool things lined up, and I just really appreciate you guys. So check out the girls over at Ladies Night with Mary Page Flynn. And also, I think it's Roxanne and Shanna, I would guess, tonight. And say hi to them over at Ladies Night on 503 Aquatics if you don't have a stream to go to next and you're looking for one. Kevin, what's up? It was so good to meet you too, brother. Sorry we didn't have more time, and I'm sorry I didn't end up staying that last night. But we had to handle a lot of things at once, and it just ended up being that we got booted from the hotel. They didn't keep a reservation for us, and so we had to leave in a hurry. So I don't know about potassium permanganate on mollies. I'll have to get back to you on that. Off the top of my head, I just don't remember the details about it. I do know that some people do something with it. Oh, Jess is on there. Great. Cool. Thank you, Dragon Lair. Appreciate that. Do you have a link by chance? That would be great for viewers if you got one. I can't post a link right now the way this stream's set up, unfortunately, which is oh so frustrating right now. I wish they'd fix a couple things in YouTube the way it works, but you know, again, thank you, mods. Thank you. Oh yeah, hit like on the way out if you liked it. If you didn't like this stream, then don't. Then go fly a kite. Last thing while we're waiting for a link to pop in is that my variegated snow white hygrophila polysperma is growing really well out of this bowl. So I plan on taking those cuttings, things like that, and like the other cuttings that are in this tank over here that are immersed, I think we'll put those in the cube. We'll try to really do an immersed tank. John, all right. Yeah, you have a good night too, my friend. It was so great meeting everyone at Fishtoberfest. I hope I can do some more events out in, say, Tennessee or, Ohio, Texas, the East, the far East Coast, Florida, whatnot. It'd be really fun. And, Australia dropping in. Total Tropicals TV. What's going on? We were just wrapping things up, heading over to the girls' ladies' night over on 503 Aquatics, and it's I guess Jess and Mary and Shanna, and yeah. So I'm gonna get off of here right now. Jeffrey, good to see you. Sorry, we're headed out. Everyone who just arrived, but I will be back, and there will be a video in the next day or two also of a historic sort. So, and live the Aquarium Insider podcast. There's a 2-hour version of 10 events that changed the course of fish keeping and created the modern hobby as we know it today. Another long name talk because I can't do anything in few words. I'm really bad at that. So, all right, guys, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna walk out this door like I'm gonna go. But have a wonderful night. I hope y'all can just do a little search of 503 Aquatics and find the girls if you're looking for the next stream. And I will talk to you all later. Thank you so much, Super Chatters, mods, all of you. You rock. Much love. There might be a week or two where Bateson's not a mod. Let me try to get this. Hold on. I'm gonna try something here. Add moderator. You should now be a moderator and able to post links if you were trying to post a link and it wouldn't let you. Miss Bateson, Emily. Oh, we have another little surprise at the end of the stream. Oh, dang it, I think it swam away. But of course he came to eat the rest of my $20 plant. It was my lovely leopard frog plecos came out to eat the bottom of the roots. But I don't know where they went off to. That was quick. They've been very shy lately. There we go. There's a link. Thank you so much, Emily. I appreciate it. See, meeting you in person is already paying off. So I will talk to y'all later. Have a wonderful night. And see you in their chat. There goes that leopard frog. He's back there. You can see the yellow and the black moving around. All right, guys. I'll talk to you later. Yeah, this pleco has an expensive taste. Take care, guys. Bye. Wow, actually,